Over the past 20 years,
Bollywood has undergone a huge change, right? Shaped by globalization, the proliferation of streaming platforms, and an increase in the number of mature and complex storytelling. Contemporary Bollywood dives into the socio political commentary and makes us aware about what is happening around us. In many ways, it's a response of a world that feels more politically charged and socially aware. But here's the catch: this has led to the marginalization of films or other media content is tailored for children. Think about it. I mean, we rarely see media that is focused on innocence, joy, or those simple family dynamics. When was the last time you watched a good kid film? Movies like Stanley Ka Dibba, Chiller Party, Tare Zameen Par function as a form of psychological and emotional safe space for the kids. These films depicted young characters confronting real life adversities in life, but in a manner which was comforting and relatable at the same time. Stuff like this provides a sense of belonging and security to them. More importantly, these films acted as a kind of shield that kept children away from the violent adult oriented films. Look at this article which talks about such adult oriented movies like Kabir Singh. I quote, "I have never believed films are required to be an ethics lesson for their audiences. I have always believed that imperfection in characters is what makes film truly beautiful. While I still believe this, Kabir Singh made me realize that films are equally responsible to not openly laud and glamorize incorrect behavior. Are we really, in 2019, watching films glorifying the misogyny, aggression, and non-consensual relationships that characterize toxic masculinity? Are people genuinely entertained by such films? The answer is a resounding yes. The film earned 100 crores in 5 days. Can you believe that? Research has consistently shown that media plays an important role in the cognitive and emotional development of a child. According to a study published, exposure to violent media content can lead to increased aggression and desensitization to violence. Another study shows that children exposed to positive media, uplifting content, are better at problem solving, they are more empathetic, and are more creative. The lack of good children movie or any children movie in the theaters, parents end up taking their kids to whatever's playing, like Animal or other movies. Such an animal. This leads to exposure of adult oriented content at a very young age. This is a problem of limited number of options and also bad parenting. Even when there are family friendly movies in the theaters, they come with a huge amount of double meaning jokes. I don't understand why filmmakers think that it is very necessary to sneak in adult humor in every other scene. Take 3-2 for example. I was sitting in the hall, I was fully expecting a good movie, but there were so many unnecessary scenes that was filled with adult humor for no apparent reason. I was so shocked because the hall was filled with children. We are drowning in crime stories and gritty films. So did everyone just wake up one day and decided that kids don't need movies that make them happy? Or there is something more going on? There can be two broad reasons as to why this is happening. The first being the obvious reason, which is the commercialization of the film industry or the media industry, including TV. The other being that children these days are very different from the older generations. In the race to cater to mass audiences, filmmakers and directors are jumping into the genres of psychology, suspense, and thrillers because guess what? That's what's trending today. Everybody is only up for watching either spine-chilling, nail-biting thrillers or 2 hours of action. And if combined, even better. In contrast, children movies are now seen as a niche, offering a more limited amount of audience, which is not true whatsoever. Despite their artistic merit and critical acclaim, these movies often do not perform well commercially, which subsequently leads to less investment by producers in these types of movies. I would also like to mention that there hasn't been a release of any kind of TV show or sitcoms which is targeted towards younger audiences these days. Back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, shows like Shakalaka Boom Boom, Shaktiman, Malguri Days offered a mix of education, cultural storytelling, and entertainment. Even when I was a kid, sitcoms like Bas Laflak Ki, Sweet Love Karan Kabir, Palak Pe Jhalak, Shake It Up, all these provided endless entertainment to me and kept me engaged. I think that there should be a balance. A balance between media which is covering the harsh, brutal realities of life and media which is covering the more chill, slice of life, uplifting part of life, where I can just sit back and relax and just enjoy a movie without thinking too much. The argument that children today are more mature than the previous generation stems from a lot of factors, including the digitization of childhood and the commercialization of media content. Early access of social media and streaming platforms has catalyzed an early introduction to complex narratives. This article by Business Today says the survey conducted with parents of kids aged 9 to 17 in urban areas found that 47% reported their children spend at least 3 hours daily on social media, videos, streaming apps, or online games. Additionally, 10% of parents said their children spend more than 6 hours a day on these platforms. If children are constantly on these platforms, they are bound to encounter media which is not meant for them. This can create a sense of disconnection from peers or their own age group. They adopt adult mindset, attitudes, and behaviors prematurely. This shift has been linked to the phenomena of age compression, where kids tend to lose their innocence that is traditionally associated with childhood. They are influenced by the adultification of childhood. Age compression comes from a lot of places. Businesses and ad agencies are targeting younger children with products that would have been previously advertised to older children. And because of all this age compression, adultification of childhood, being more mature than you should be, or looking older and adopting adult behaviors before your frontal lobe is even developed, leads to child-centric movies being irrelevant or not really attractive to kids. We can now understand that both of the reasons which I discussed, number 1 and number 2, are interlinked, interconnected, and one is complementary to another. This is a phenomenon of no demand equals to no supply. If kids today think that they don't feel attracted or they don't like to watch such kid-centered movies, then obviously the directors and the filmmakers will not be investing their money in making such movies. In the end, I would just like to say that today's generation, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, has adopted a very adult-like attitude at a very early age. I mean, if you just look at a 12-year-old today and compare it to a 12-year-old in the 1990s, then you would see a huge difference. Obviously, this is not entirely our generation's fault because we were born with electronics in our hand. But I would like to see a change, and I would like to see people, mainly kids, being kids and not adults, and not be glued to a screen all the time. It would be great if I just got a really nice slice of life kid movie. I mean, I have been waiting for another kind of chill movie for a very long time, but I don't think that there is gonna be one because all the new releases are yet again something like crime or thriller or suspense or action or something along the lines. But comment down below what you think, and thank you for watching. Bye.